What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about my current favorite shoe to hoop in. Of course you can see my all-time favorite shoes here on this shelf, and naturally the pair we're going to talk about is part of that list. And now for my favorite shoe to hoop in as of right now, it is of course the Nike Book 1. If you're following me on Instagram or on my other socials, you'll know that I have 4 colorways of this shoe. I got all of them from Kicks, so a massive shout out to them. There's an affiliate link to them in the description box down below, or you can just type in the code Lucas for a 10% discount. Right now there's a bigger sale going on, so make sure to head over there and check that out. Back to the Nike Book 1s, as I was saying, I have 4 colorways of them, and that's also one of the reasons why they are one of my favorite shoes, or actually my favorite shoe right now, one of my favorite shoes all time. I really dig the design of the Book 1. I love how they look on foot. I love the design, I love the idea behind the design. It matches their Booker style perfectly, and they just look really cool on foot, in my personal opinion. Can also be worn as off-court sneakers, which I've done with one pair. So definitely a big plus, the design in my opinion. And this one kind of is like the white Air Forces of basketball shoes. Matches, goes with every jersey, with every practice gear outfit. It's just insanely nice on foot and very clean. So that's a big reason why I like them so much. They retail for 150 euros or dollars. Some colorways a bit more, some colorways a bit less. That's a downside in my opinion. That's a really high price for a first signature sneaker. If you compare it with some other shoes, for example, the Sabrina 2, which I'm seeing over there behind the camera, is going for 130, and it's already a second signature shoe and also an amazing performer. So just for the price, that's definitely a downside for the Nike Book 1. But I love the upcoming colorways as well. I mean, just look at the Sunrise colorway that's coming. There's also going to be a Sunset colorway. So really beautiful colorways. And of course, they wouldn't be my favorite shoe right now if they didn't have good performance. So let's get straight into the performance and start with the traction performance of the Nike Book 1. It's been amazing for me. Interestingly enough, the solid rubber colorways have had better performance. The translucent outsole that I have on the Mirage Volume 2 picks up a little bit more dust. The pattern is the same on all. They use a herringbone type pattern throughout the whole outsole. It works very well in all directions. And on the solid rubber pairs, the dust pickup is also not that good. And I would also recommend the solid rubber pairs for outdoors. I do think that they are durable enough, just not the most durable thing you'll ever see. Like for example, the Wade All City 12 or the Sun of Flash, or in general, Way of Wade, Anta, Li-Ning, all those brands have way more durable shoes normally than Nike or Adidas, like traditional European or Western brands. Back to the performance, very good. The first couple of times you might slide out from time to time. That happened to me with actually this pair today. We were playing a little bit of post-up 1v1, not full speed, but just like to get some sweat in there, to get a nice workout before our game tomorrow. Something I like to do, play light one-on-ones just to get into game speed situations and game-like situations. And I slipped. That also happened with the Python colorway the first time I used them, or the first time I was actually playing one-on-one with them. So just like on a really hard stop, I slipped out a little bit. Actually, while moving forward, I was trying to do a step back. Nothing too crazy didn't happen after that at all. I actually can't remember that happening with the purple colorway I have. And as I said, the Mirage Volume 2 just picks up a little bit more dust, so that's always going to be an issue, that you're going to be slipping a little bit if you don't wipe it off. But apart from that, traction performance was amazing for me, and I'd still give it a 10 out of 10, because after 6 months of using 4 colorways, I can remember 2 times that I actually slipped out. Moving on to the next category, being the cushioning setup of the Book 1. That's where it gets very interesting and where opinions go in different directions for a lot of people. For me, it's a perfect setup. A lot of people complain that it's too low to the ground in the forefoot. There's no impact protection in the forefoot. And while I do agree partially with that, I'll explain why it's perfect for me, but I'll also explain what the bigger issues could be for someone that doesn't like this type of setup. For me, it's perfect as I need a lot of cushioning in the heel, as I oftentimes have Achilles pain, especially on my left foot, and I just really like a nice plush ride if I ever do heavy heel strikes or something like that during a game or during practice. And for the cushioning setup, if you're not familiar with it, we've got a full bed of Cushion foam, and inside of that bed we've got an air zoom unit in the heel of the Book 1. In the forefoot there's just the foam. Of course, the setup is pretty much caged all the way around, as it's a retro style shoe and you do have to implement that caging for it not to be unstable, which is also a concern a lot of people have with the Book 1, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the video. And for the cushioning setup now, the heel is extremely soft, extremely comfortable, and the forefoot is very low to the ground with a good, stable and supportive base, which is exactly what I like as I'm a shooter. And for me, that's very important to have good contact with the floor, as sometimes I feel like if I have a shoe like the LeBron 21s, for example, where there's this massive zoom unit here in the forefoot, I sometimes feel a little bit unstable or wobbly just when taking a jump shot, because I have to compress the unit down, and then when on its way up, it decompresses again. So I feel a tiny little bit off balance with them, which is something doesn't happen at all with the Nike Book 1s. And that's why I am such a big fan of them, because for me personally, it's the perfect cushioning setup, as I said, with the impact protection in the heel and the nice and low to the ground feel in the forefoot. Now for a lot of people, the heel might be just as good as for me, but the forefoot will be way too low, not enough cushioning. It will hurt them and their feet, because they're also good for flat footers, which I have an extremely flat and wide foot, because the insole goes up a little bit, which gives extra support to your arch. But if you're not used to something like that, and if you're used to having cushioning in the forefoot, these will probably hurt your feet. That's why a lot of people complain about them and ask me, why do you actually like these so much? But for me, just the perfect cushioning setup. I already teased on the support features a little bit. We've got a midfoot shank plate. It's nothing crazy, it's no carbon fiber, it's plastic, but it actually does the job pretty well. And the rest of the shoe is insanely supportive. The materials are very supportive as they're very thick, and the lacing system really keeps your foot on the footbed. So I had no issues with my foot moving out over the footbed on the side, or also like torsional support felt very, very nice. As you know, I don't like shoes that flex in the forefoot, or essentially shoes that flex in the midfoot. Going back to the LeBron 21s as an example, in my opinion, where does your foot flex while running? It's here where your toes are, your joints of your toes. So this area right here in the forefoot is where a shoe should flex. The LeBron 21 doesn't do a perfect job, but at least it's not terrible like something like the GT Hustle 2. They flex all through here in the midfoot, where your foot doesn't flex at all. So they're really not supportive at all. The LeBron 21s do that better. The Book 1s do it very well. I don't know how, but the plastic shank plate seems to be very stiff and very supportive. And now for the last performance category, we're going to talk about the materials. That's maybe one point of criticism I have. I don't like leather shoes as much. Apparently, the Book 1 uses real leather, nubuck, some suede, and also some textile mesh uppers. So it's a lot of different materials mixed together. I've also seen some videos that claim that Nike actually never uses real leather. I don't know. If you've got any information on that, just let me know. Would be really interested to find out about that. Back to the materials, they work very well. I already mentioned that they're very supportive. They're not breathable at all, but that's something that I don't mind a lot, as also the Harden Volume 7 is one of my favorite shoes of all time, and they were not breathable at all. So I don't mind that as much. If you do, you should probably stay away from them, as breathability really isn't that good. Obviously, with all the thick materials you have there. They're also very padded, especially in the heel area, which makes it such a comfortable ride, which is again also why I like them so much, because you have such a nice and premium, comfy, cozy feeling in the heel with a nice low to the ground, minimal feel in the forefoot. Apart from that, the materials really do get the job done. The quality seems alright. I haven't had any issues with them tearing or wearing apart, even after 6 months of using the Mirage Volume 2 colorway. Nothing out of the ordinary. Of course, you get some stains on there, but that happens with every shoe. I'm a little bit concerned about the rattlesnake colorway, because of course they're all white. Probably going to get dirty really quickly. Would definitely not recommend these for outdoors. But just from a durability standpoint, the materials will also be good for outdoors. And now for the last thing we're going to talk about today, the fit of the Nike Book 1 might also be a little bit tricky. I mentioned before that I have extremely wide feet and also very flat feet. They're good for both, in my personal opinion. But the thing with me is, lengthwise, my feet would fit perfectly into a size 13 shoe, but they're so wide that I just can't wear them for longer than like an hour or a light shoot around, because they just pinch into the side of my feet like crazy. So I go up to a size 14 in every single shoe that I have. Sometimes I even have to go up higher if shoes are really tight or small, like, where are they? The Rigora Austin Reeves 1. In my opinion, a shoe that runs really, really short. A little bit off topic, back to the Book 1. As I'm sizing up to a size 14, which is my true size, essentially, I have a little bit more wiggle room than all the others that would go with, let's say, a size 12, if that's your true size, because they do fit a little bit short, which makes them perfect for me, because the fit is wide foot friendly in the midfoot, but they're a tiny little bit short. So the size 14 is a little bit shorter than the other size 14s I have. So for me, they're absolutely perfect. If you don't like a really tight and narrow fit, maybe go up half a size. You can definitely try them out in store and see how you like them. I hope this explanation made sense with all these sizes. If it didn't, just let me know down below and I'll try to explain again, maybe also with a pinned comment if it really didn't make sense at all. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the review and like my content. If you do, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and as I said, comment your thoughts on this video as it really helps me out a lot. And I would very much appreciate it. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. Have a good one and see you next time.